Okay, so it looks like we have a good amount of participants today. Thank you to everyone who is logged on with us for today's Feed and Grain Live webinar, The Increased Role of Mobile App Usage in Agribusiness. I'm your moderator, Elise Schaefer, publisher of Feed and Grain Magazine, and our speakers today are Mike Terning, Head of Product for Retail and Grain Origination at Greenstone Systems, and Mark Hisken, Cinch Platform Manager at Greenstone Systems. So once again, I want to thank you for spending part of your busy day with Feed and Grain. And without further ado, I'll turn things over to Mike.
Well, great. Good afternoon. Thank you, Elise, for the kind introduction. My name is Mike Terning. I serve as the head of product with the origination area, retail and grain origination within Greenstone Systems. I work with a couple of our product lines called Agris and Cinch. I've been working in this space for a couple of decades now, and I look forward to working with my colleague, Mark Hisken. Mark, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Mark Hisken. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Elise, for this invitation. And I work with Mike. My role is to oversee product management of the Cinch platform, and that is our Microsoft Dynamics GP-based solution. And also as like Mike, been in the industry since the early 90s, been with Greenstone since 2013.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thanks, Mark. Both of us work with ag retailers, grain originators, grain processors, and cooperatives. Those are the type of customers we work with typically day in, day out. All right, so the agenda that we have for you today is some introductions. We want to get to know you a little bit, and Elise will pop up a polling question here in a moment on that. We'll talk about why mobile application usage is increasing in the ag business space, who within agribusinesses are utilizing mobile applications, some examples of capabilities that mobile apps can bring within your business, and then some pain points that these apps address and some benefits of how they can help the agribusiness. And as Elise mentioned, we'll have Q&A, questions and answers at the end. So without further ado here, we'll start with our first polling question. So Elise is kind of bringing up the screen here. So we just want to know what role you serve within your company. So we have a few things you can answer here. The first tier would be the executive, a chief executive officer or a financial officer, information officer, operations officer, a GM, a VP type of role. Controller or office manager role would be another area. Department or location manager. Grain originator, procurement or merchandiser. Information and technology, or like a systems administration type of role. And then operations could be a location or department manager. And then sales or other. So, all right. So it looks like we've got a good mix here today. The executive suite is most represented, followed by department or location managers. So thanks for your feedback there. All right. The next question we have is, what best describes your company? Is your business an ag retailer, a cooperative, grain origination like an elevator or a terminal? Or are you a grain processor or feed or flour miller or something else? I suspect, Mark, that we'll have quite a few in the top two, but
yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, I would say that'd be true.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's our prediction. We'll see if the audience proves us right or wrong here.
Yeah. You've been proven wrong before, Mike.
Yes, we have. All right. Well, see, I was wrong about the top one. So yeah. Cooperatives and grain processors are leading the way here. So great. Thanks for your feedback. All right. And then I think we have one more here. Whoops. I'm sorry. The question here is, what departments or product lines does your company have? So, and keep in mind that there's all of the above, the second from the bottom. So as you roll through these, if most of these apply, just click all of the above. But if you're more single focused, then select one that best describes your business, whether it be agronomy, C-stores, energy, farm supply stores, feed, grain, TBA, all of the above. If you're a grain processor, then you could probably just put grain here. Probably be the most applicable, or other. All right, well, there are the results. Grain feed, all of the above. So those are the most popular ones. Well, thanks for your feedback. It helps us get to know you just a touch better. Now we'll get on with the rest of our presentation here. So, Mark, do you want to explain to the audience here why mobile app is increasing what we've been seeing in ag business?
Sure. Yeah. So, no surprise in agribusiness, technology advancements are being realized and being developed and adopted. Every other area in our personal lives, we're seeing that. And, agriculture probably historically has been a little bit of a laggard with taking up technology. And there's probably some pros and cons, but we're definitely seeing the advancements in technology come to agriculture, and you're probably seeing that in your certainly seeing that in your own companies, the businesses that you work for. One aspect that's driving that is the workforce, and I'm sure you're all very acutely aware of the difficulty in finding, filling all of your positions. A lot of times the rural locations make that more difficult, just aren't as many people. Young people maybe aren't necessarily wanting to pursue agricultural positions. So, there needs to be a way to help alleviate that shortage. And certainly mobile apps are one way that can bring some of that efficiency. And then also with the young people that choose agriculture and choose to stay around in the rural locations, even with rural young people, they're definitely driving consuming technology and expecting a lot of their life to be driven through their phones and their mobile devices, and younger people just expect that apps are real bite-sized. They're not these monstrosity software applications that someone like myself and some of the older generations were used to. Just software was a large application. Young people think and act very differently, as we all know. And then just the overall demand for mobile apps to be a part of life, to be a part of business. The business needs real-time information. We, again, personally are just living life that way. My phone here, and we all have a smartphone, I'm sure, or most of us. You just expect everything to be right at your fingertips, to be real time, and certainly our farmers, growers, ag business just expects that timely information.
So when it comes to who we see utilizing mobile applications within the ag business today, there are a variety of different roles that are embracing mobile applications, including salespeople, warehouse personnel, drivers and applicators, the growers themselves, operating equipment, or sitting at the end of a field or kitchen table, wherever. Some vendors use mobile applications, some of the vendors you deal with. And then management and accounting personnel are looking more and more towards more information. Typically, what we see is that mobile applications they help solve various needs, various wants. So if there's a certain salesperson who's always calling the office for information, hey, do we have this inventory amount? Can you give me that report again? Those are typically the roles that mobile applications can really help those who are needing that real-time information that Mark just mentioned. So in terms of capabilities these mobile applications can bring to life, can bring to the life of the agribusiness is, in the accounting realm, looking at what's happening with issuing advances, cash disbursements, cash flow, vendor payments, grower settlements. Within the warehouse, capabilities include receiving inventory, capturing shipment information, doing deliveries, transferring stock from one location to another, doing counts of inventory, cycle counts or month-end type counts. For salespeople, mobile apps can help them capture quotes that they give to customers and then later turn those into bookings or prepays or orders of some kind. And viewing inventory that might be available to sell by location. So seeing quantities or positions of inventory by location, and then checking customer credit information. With management, it's viewing that vital information, financial dashboards, key performance indicators. It might be, top lists of products being sold or customers being served or bookings being captured or contracts being made, those type of things. And then for the growers themselves, more and more farmers want and need to make offers wherever they're at. Might be sitting at a high school basketball game and asking themselves, hey, I should really make an offer for what I harvested today or what have you. And then seeing contracts, signing those contracts, seeing scale tickets, looking at work orders, settlements, etc. So, Mark, you want to go into one of these ideas here more deeply when it comes to the pain points and benefits?
Yeah, I think the next two slides we're drilling in a little bit here on the pain points and some of the benefits that a mobile app can address. And for this first one, just thinking about the area of shipments, outgoing shipments, that it's alleviating inventory. You've got that paperwork that a lot of times the pain point with that is just the latency, the lag between when that shipment actually left your facility to when it hits the computer system, which then has a couple of impacts. One is the inaccurate inventory position that exists between when that product physically left and when it's processed fully through your software, your ERP system that's tracking your inventory. And then, of course, everyone wants to get paid, and you don't get paid until the invoices get processed and sent or emailed. And so you've got that latency there as well. So, two real pain points there that really can affect the financial health of your operation, can affect management decisions, especially as you think about inventory levels being accurate. And so the benefit with a mobile app is if we can bring a mobile app to alleviate these pain points. Of course, the timely, accurate inventory positions are realized. Better, faster revenue recognition, faster cash collection. So those are real, tangible benefits that we can all relate to, and that are all very, very important to running a successful business. and just the other area that we'll talk about is, if maybe your operation currently is handling really all your shipments with paper, not uncommon yet. And so you're probably well aware, probably painfully aware of the issues that come up with paperwork, just lost paperwork, handwriting that's illegible. It's those pains are real. And a mobile app can really bring a lot of benefit to alleviating that paperwork shuffle. Again, that's part of the latency and the lag of getting things processed. But with the elimination of the paper, of course, we benefit from the reduction of shrink, minimize invoicing errors, and then again, the timely revenue recognition, just because everything's happening much more closer to real time than when you're doing the paperwork shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Go on to the next slide, Mike.
All right. Another area where you can benefit from mobile applications might be in your contracting area. So there are applications now that allow contract information to be captured anywhere. Growers can enter their own offers. The offer management can be automated, and hedging can be automated as well through these mobile platforms. And I've gotten ahead of myself here. Sorry about that. And then the emailing of the contracts can occur automatically as well. So the contract gets captured, and then the email from your agribusiness can be sent to your counterparty, and the contract can be confirmed or countersigned right within the application itself or via an email. So there are all sorts of opportunities to streamline your contracting processes by using mobile applications and enabling your growers to use those mobile applications as well. So, all right, we're going to ask a polling question here. So we're shifting gears here a little bit, but if you sell things to customers, which I'm sure all of you do, how much time do you think it takes on average for one of your teammates to give a price to a customer? So a customer calls up or appears at one of your facilities, or you go out there and they say, well, what's your price on that? How long does that take to give them a price of an item that you're looking to provide to them? So if you think about doing that, is it some people, they might print their price lists on spreadsheets or something and take them out with them, or have to call someone or at their desk. So, okay. So most people here said less than a minute. But then there's a contingency out there that says more than 4 minutes. So that's interesting. So good mix there. So, all right. Thanks for that feedback. We have one more polling question here. How important is it for your business to grow revenue without increasing selling expenses significantly? In other words, you need to grow your top line, but you're looking for other ways of maybe not having to add as many staff to achieve your revenue goals. So the options here are, it's important, the top two are critical. You're either not satisfied with how you're doing it, or you are satisfied. And then the next two would be, it's important to grow revenue and you're not satisfied with your current approach, or it's important and you're satisfied. And we're assuming that it's always important to grow your revenue, and whether or not you're satisfied or not is another element to the question. So, Lisa is going to pop up the results. Okay. All right, so here we're seeing that about 60% are, they believe it's at least critical, important or critical, and they're not satisfied with their current approach. Only about 30% are satisfied. Okay, thanks for that feedback. So as we move on here, when you look at some of your field sales staff personnel, those who are meeting with customers may not be tethered to the desk much each day, like to go out and visit with farmers at their kitchen tables or at the end of the field or somewhere on their farm, their shop. Some of the pain points that these field sales personnel have could be sales agronomists or energy salesmen. Sometimes it's hard to get the latest prices without having to open emails or printing something out. It can be challenging to understand the credit position of the customer that they're going to be visiting. There can be a tendency to jot things on paper, take notes, and those are prone to damage or loss or getting blown out of the pickup cab. And then it can be a challenge at times to understand what inventory is available to sell and where it's at, which locations or sites or branches the inventory is at. So there are applications that help these sales team members do their jobs better. So some of the benefits that these applications bring is that it reduces the time to capture the deal information. And it could start with a quote, basically capturing a conversation with the customer. Here's the product I quoted this price. I said it's good for this many days. And then when working with the customer, it can show the credit information of that customer more quickly. So if there are a large amount of prepays on hand, you can have a different conversation than if the customer is past due. And it minimizes the time it takes to take that conversation, like we mentioned earlier, maybe it's a quote, they're asking pricing information, and turn that into a booking or a prepay or some sort of an order later. And then also, it provides better information to the whole inventory quantity, what's on hand, the position, the pricing information, so that the orders can be taken accurately and executed quickly once the farmer or customer commits. So there are applications that can help your field sales teams do those things. Now, as Mark and I seek to do our jobs, what we try to look at within our customers' businesses are what are some underserved roles within the business. So Elise is going to pop up another question, a polling question here is, so when you think about the different roles within your business, which roles do you feel are most underserved with information or information tools today? So you may want to think about this as which roles within your organizations are asking for more information or need information that's hard to get in order for them to do their jobs. It could be that salesperson we just mentioned, always calling the office saying, "Hey, what's this? What's the customer's balance here? Or how much inventory do we have? Or what's the position on this item? Or where is it located?" It could be a warehouse worker who might get a list of cash-only customers, only to have that outdated at noon for the day. So as you look through that list, which do you feel within your organization is most underserved with information or information tools today?
Probably the most important question of the day for you and I, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, certainly. And of course, we've listed many of the same roles as what was earlier. So, okay. All right. So, not surprised by accounting staff because they tend to be right by their desktop or laptop computers. So, no responses there. But C-suite, that's That's a fairly typical one. Grain originators and merchandising staff, growers themselves, and salespeople, and warehouse staff at the bottom there. So pretty good mix. So we thank you for your feedback there. All right. Mark, do you want to cover some of the warehouse?
Yeah,
I just mentioned that was selected by a couple of folks there. So
yeah, you bet. So touched on several of these in the previous slide that I talked about related to shipping. So with warehouse workers, the operations, the outgoing aspect of your operation. These pain points, again, probably very familiar to some of you, with paper tickets, paper pick tickets. It's paper, so it's prone to error, just out of the box. If you think of an example of, a grower showing up and he's showing up to get a case of Roundup and then decides to grab 2 or 3 other items, as he's there, kind of last minute. It's just that aspect of that transaction is very prone to some of those items not making it on a pick ticket or a shipping document. What about the customer who shows up who's over his credit limit and wants to add to his shipment? Again, in that scenario, if it's all on paper or if there's not a mobile app that the warehouse worker's got right at his fingertips to see that, there's possibility of that circumstance to occur. Again, we talked about the paper slips prone to damage, handwriting loss, and then just that inventory awareness. What's available to sell? Where is it? Very real pain points. And so the benefits that we can talk about with mobile apps, just reduction of writing things that there isn't with the right mobile app. There isn't the need for handwriting. Legibility issues get resolved. The delays are dealt with because the right mobile app would be communicating real time or near real time with the ERP solution. The operation of the warehouse manager has less paperwork, just more accurate inventory quantities. Everyone's probably acutely aware of just the shifts in costs out there, and so having an accurate inventory very important. And then the credit manager, just knowing where things are at, which customers in trouble on credit, just maximize the collections and reduce write-offs.
Great. Well, then when it comes to the grower or farmer customer persona role, there are applications that can help your customers stay connected to the business activity that they're doing with your organization. These apps enable your customers to see their information anywhere, anytime from their mobile devices. Some of these applications will let your customers launch things like offers that we talked about earlier, as well as settlement requests. Communication can be streamlined by providing access to detailed reports anytime, like proof of yield reports they can generate on their own. And then just providing a whole better customer service experience with the self-service option. So when they do call you and your team, you're getting to more strategic conversations sooner, and not spending time answering questions about a balance or, how much did I deliver, or could you give me that proof of yield report? So those are some of the applications that we see agribusinesses growing more and more interested in, using to help better serve not only those different roles within their organizations, but also to serve their customers better with more timely information, a more professional view of their sales force or warehouse workers, etc. So, Elise, I think we've made it through our slides here. So we will entertain any questions if the audience has been typing in or are willing to ask.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mike and Mark. And I want to thank everyone online for participating in our surveys. I always like to learn more about you, and I'm sure it helped our speakers tailor the webinar to their needs. I just want to remind you that we use the chat window for questions. So if you do have anything you'd like to ask, feel free to type it in that window now. I also want to mention, while I have everyone here, that when the webinar ends, you will have a survey link that automatically pops up. Please do us a favor and just answer that one question survey for us. We appreciate the feedback. Let me check that chat window. No questions so far from the audience, but Mike and Mark, I wonder if you have any comments on the benefit of having data backed up in something such as a cloud or other electronic databases versus paper data, for example.
You were cutting out on you. Or could have been my connection, at least. Would you or Mark, if you got the question, can you answer it, please?
Yeah, the benefit of having the data in the cloud. Was that the gist of your question, Elise?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah. Well, certainly on-prem installations of customers, hardware, software, you're responsible for it all, the backups, the security, and as data security becomes a bigger issue, a more concern, the bad guys are getting better at tunneling through servers and gaining access and just wreaking havoc. If they do, the benefit, one of the benefits, or a couple of benefits that come to mind off the top, and Mike, you can certainly fill in, is just reduced cost of ownership, better ownership or better maintenance of the data and the hardware. It just kind of offloads all of that to a third-party provider that's taking care of all that. Keeping Windows servers up to date, installing all the patches, backups of the data and the applications. Just great benefits there. Yeah, Mike, anything to add?
Yeah, one of the other benefits of cloud is the ability to push things out really quickly, updates, and patches, and enhancements, and not have to burden the ag business with having to manage those things. And then, of course, it enables multiple footprints as well. So having elements hosted in the cloud allow for iOS device access or Android access. Those are a few of the benefits.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question about learning market prices for feed ingredients. Is there apps for that?
Market prices for feed ingredients, apps for that. I think there are some vendors who are providing that type of information through different apps. I don't know to what level on the feed ingredient side they're going down. I know that there is a market data provider out there who is doing a lot with mobile applications and providing tools to see prices of grain basis at different locations, for instance. And I don't know if they're taking that down yet to the feed ingredient, like micros and things like that.
Certainly possible, Mike, right? I mean, if the app doesn't exist, certainly possible to do that in terms of the technology and the wherewithal.
Mm-hmm. And then it too is, I don't know if they're looking at multiple retailers at once or if they're looking at the retail business themselves,
Sure.
which would have the ability to. There are applications where you could provide your product catalog, for instance, online and expose that. But most would want some sort of a login to seek to secure that information to only their customers who are authorized.
I think a general response to that question is really anything is possible in terms of some of your ideas on, hey, could this be done? It's amazing how far technology has advanced in terms of having data at our fingertips, and more and more of the software solutions are opening up and providing APIs. Really, it's kind of maybe too easy of an answer, but really pretty much anything is possible.
Right. Well, I think that's what the beauty of apps is, that the possibilities are endless. And you just need to identify your pain point and go from there to either develop or find a solution that's already out there. So with that, I believe we've answered all the questions, and I will be sharing contact information in at the end of the slideshow, which will be in the email that everyone gets as a follow-up. So if there aren't any more questions, I'll wrap things up here. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, everyone on the line, for your time. And please go to our website, live.feedandgrain.com, to sign up for our next webinar. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Elise.
Thank you.